This is Marlon Wayans, and you're listening to 5105.
This is Vibe Talks, exclusively on Vibe 105.
Hey everybody, this is Giancarlo Aulino reporting for Vibe 105 with a Vibe Talk segment, and I'm happy to be joined by my guest today who's going to be talking about an exciting time here in the city of Toronto. He and his family have been creating classics and putting smiles on faces for decades. He is the great Marlon Wayans. How you doing, Marlon?
Gang. I love your intro. Follow your intro. I was like, damn, that dude, he sounds like somebody.
And Marlon, this is an exciting time. JustForLaughs Toronto, you're going to be headlining. You're going to be at Meridian Hall. Just as a comedian, all the hard work and dedication that has gone into this, what does it feel like to be serving as one of the headliners for a comedy festival?
It feels good. I've always wanted to be a part of JustForLaughs. I remember I was a part of it when I was a kid. I come with him to some of these festivals, and it's just great to be a part of it and to see my maturation as a comedian. Like, wow, I'm not just being a guy at the festival, but being a headliner. I'm working on my fourth special right now, so it feels good. I'm gonna make them laugh.
And also they're like September 30th at Meridian Hall. You're talking about just a special and coming around to these. Like, what's a writing process like? Because you're talking about now working on your fourth special. So, like, just what's day to day like for you?
I don't write stand up like write them down. I do my stand up like Jay-Z does a rhyme. It's in my head. I write on a stage, and people don't even know it. Like, Literally, my last two specials, I wrote on a stage. Actually, three of my specials, I wrote anything. I don't write them down. I don't write down the jokes. I just go up there, and the audience doesn't even understand that they're paying to watch me write. So I'm writing literally on a stage, and then I sequence it in my head. And I don't need as much time as the normal comedian to do a special. Like, sometimes a comedian needs like 4 years to write the material and take it on tour. And I know my next 3 or 4 specials. That's how much time I spend on the stage.
And how have you adapted to just ever evolving culture? Social media also is a big one where they weigh in with their views, sometimes not so good against a comedian. So how have you just navigated around that and block the outside noise to make sure what you're doing is productive and working for yourself?
We don't care. Like comedians, we don't care. We have haters every night. We deal with hecklers. Hecklers is a part of our business. So having a heckler on social media, we don't mind destroying them or ignoring them. It just depends on what we feel like doing, but they're not going to break me. They just make me. A lot of times when I get, I always respond with funny. So I don't take them seriously because I know most of them aren't even real people. Those are like bots from other countries. And, they're trying to take away the one great thing about, America is we have freedom of speech, and I'll continue to honor that till the day I die. And so I don't really care about those people. If they want to laugh, they can have a great time. If they want to listen, they have a great time. If they want to get heckled, I can have a great time doing that. They can have a really bad night. I can throw a microphone at them like Cardi B.
And just even being like a comedian like yourself, like I know fans, when they see your specials, they see the finished product, but there's a lot of time and effort, trials and tribulations for yourself. Like, how have you been comfortable as a stand-up comedian throughout the years?
I think you just find your different levels, right? When I first started, I was really physical. And then I started learning to sit in the pocket and tell stories. And then I learned to do voices and characters. It's just layers to it, right? So the most important thing to me in being a comedian is being a great storyteller and a great communicator. It's not about being funny. Funny's going to come. That's definitely going to come. But funny with a great story, to me, that's the sweet spot.
And just Steven, yourself, coming from a legendary comedy family, like one of your co-stars there, you were on Bel Air, and I got to speak with Adrian Holmes, who spoke highly of your performance. And he also said you come from the royal family of comedy. So is that an added amount of pressure as a comedian when you have to live up to your brothers and all the great work they've done over the years?
I think it could be. it's a blessing and a curse, but I think I have enough confidence in my abilities that, I don't let that cast a shadow, right? I think early in my career, there was a lot more pressure. And now I think I've made my own way and I've proven myself. And I'm not concerned with being the best like Wayans. I'm just concerned with being the best. The most important thing to me is that as Marlon, that I become the best version and biggest version of myself. Wayans is already going to be, legend. That's already a legacy. Now I'm trying to make Marlon a legacy as well.
And what kind of strategies did you develop over the years to maybe separate yourself and create your own identity as a comedian where, the fan perception, they're going to say, okay, Marlon Wayans, they have an idea going in. So how did you create your own identity as a comedian?
Just telling my truth. I remember when I was scared to do stand-up for a long time because as a comedian, you pull from your life stories. And I felt like I grew up in a household with 5 other comedians. So by the time I got to stage, they were already going to tell all those household jokes. But then I realized that even if I told the same joke, it would be told differently because it's my point of view. And once you talk your truth and you stick to your guns and you tell your stories, you don't have to worry about trying to be anybody else. And that goes for anybody in comedy. You go to a comedy store and 10 comedians could go up and talk about sex. But everybody has their own version of their own experience of sex. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't get tiring. And what you learn as an individual and as a comedian, you have your own point of view. And that's what I've learned to embrace.
And when you're developing your comedy routine, your specials that come and follow that, what have you noticed? Like, do you structure it where you have a hook going into it or like that big finale? Like, how do you find what that big finale and that big final joke is going to be?
I don't know. It just, over time, you keep working the material. And then for me, I find the story. Once I find the story, and then I know the through line, and then I know how to button it all together. You know what I mean? But I think I like to switch my setup. So sometimes I'll close my show with what I think is my weakest joke to see how strong that joke is. Or I'll try a different joke to close the show because I want to, if I can close on it, that means anywhere in my act where I put that joke, I have a closer. So I just want jokes that's so funny that the audience laughs long enough for me to go comfortably go get a sip of water.
Is that something common you notice with comedians where they want to end with a joke that might not be perceived as the funniest one, or is every comedian different with that aspect?
Every comedian is different. I don't know their process, and I don't want to study their process. I think it's important to create your own process as a comedian, especially in your individuality. Otherwise, you become a mimic of somebody else.
And also, like, you're writing as well. So what was different for yourself writing now comedy specials and just your stand-up routine compared to like when you were writing like comedy for TV series like the Wayans brothers? Was that like something where it's similar or are there differences between the two?
Very different, but they all kind of they're different. So the structure, learned to put a little bit of all of it in my stand-up, right? So I take the story of a movie, I perform it like a sitcom. Within the hour, I have 2 minutes of heart, right? 2 minutes of something to make you feel, make you think. Couple of moments of that. So I think for me, it's a combination of all that. But stand-up is one big monologue.
And just even on that, Wayans brothers, like, it's still on TV once in a while. I get to catch the reruns. I see clips floating online. And just if you were to go back in time now and see that young Marlon Wayans that was coming up as an actor and a comedian, and you would to see the Marlon Wayans now that's going to be headlining comedy festivals, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Get your ass on stage earlier. Don't wait till you're 38. You should. If I would have been doing stand-up since I was like 17, 18, I'd be a monster right now. But I feel like God writes your stories, and God, everything happens for a reason. I think that's why I'm so excited right now to be ahead of this festival, because I'm still growing, right? I'm 51, but I still feel like 17 because I'm still growing as an artist. And I honestly feel like when y'all see this show, everybody's gonna really enjoy. It's a beautiful, funny ass journey. So I'm looking forward to putting smiles on y'all faces.
Looking forward to that. And just a couple final questions here, Marlon. I don't know if you saw this clip floating online, but your co-star on White Chicks, Terry Crews, was at a LA Rams game and reenacted that 1,000 mile scene. The crowd loved it. Like, what was like filming that scene with him and White Chicks? And did you think it would have a life of its own all these years later?
We knew we were making something special. We never aimed to just make a movie. We always aimed to make a comedy classic. If you look back on any Wayans movies, you could pull them up right now, 30 years later. They're still as funny as when you first saw them. And we knew when we created that character for Terry in White Chicks, we knew how funny it was. That was a character that I used to actually do a lot. Is the black guy that loves the white girls, and I used to do that character all the time. And then when we was writing that character, Terry got some jewels, but he also brought a lot to it. And me and him got to work a lot together on that movie because he was chasing me. So I knew when he was doing it how funny it was going to be.
Great to see. And I know you probably get asked this a lot, but with technology, with CGI and all that, would you do a White Chicks too if it meant you didn't have to do all that makeup?
If it meant I could, yeah, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. But if I have to sit in 7 hours of makeup again, man, I don't know. But if I could just go to set and put on a dress and they could do the makeup like digitally, go. I'll do White Chicks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. White Chick 8.
Love to see that. And before we wrap up here, Marlon, you have a lot of dates coming up. So for our listeners and viewers here at Vibe 105, how can they stay up to date with all your upcoming dates and future comedy specials?
Go to MarlonWayans.com or hit me on Instagram at Marlon Wayans, X or Twitter or whatever Elon Musk named that weird portal platform. It's at Marlon Wayans, and Snapchat Marlon Wayans.
Highly recommend that, and I really appreciate you sharing your time and coming on here on Vibe 105 to talk all about this, and wish you all the best, and hopefully you'll kill it there on September 30th.
I better see you at the show.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, Marlon.
Vibe Talks exclusively on Vibe 105.